Previously, on Episode 5 of the Genshin Impact Chronicle.
My name is Stephanie Southerland. I grew up in Utah, of all places, right in the middle of Utah, and found voice acting. And so now I reside in Los Angeles, and I am a full-time voice actor. And some of the roles I'm best known for, I would say Jean in Genshin Impact, and Freya in Fire Emblem Heroes. But with Jean, you meet her so early on. We were recording before I really knew anything about the game, and we were hearing like, oh, it's gonna be big, it's gonna be really great. And I was like, oh, that's cool. But I really had no idea how far-reaching it would be.
Yes or no on pineapple on pizza?
I like pineapple on pizza.
Yes.
I know it's controversial, but I haven't played in so long because it was just like, I can't get past this. And then I'd like run around for a little bit, but then there were things that I had to take care of there and and just like couldn't get further. And I was like, oh, well, and then deleted it off my phone because I had to make space for something.
Oh, yeah, I understand that.
Yeah. And then like re-downloading it, I was like, oh, my phone is not big enough for this anymore. Oh no. Yeah, it's just awesome. It's such a cool world that has been created for us to enjoy.
I know, it's great. And Jean is a part of it. Like
Jean is
such
a
big
part of it.
part.
We love her.
Yes. So speaking of Jean, so she is part of the Gunhilder clan. And that is one of the oldest family of knights in Mondstadt.
Right.
Which is kind of cool. I think it's the Gunhilder clan, the Roggenbinder clan, which is, of course, Diluc's family. Oh, I think there was one more. At one point, I think it was the Lawrence clan.
The Lawrence clan, yes.
But now they've kind of died out, so
yes,
we don't talk about the Lawrence clan.
Yeah, talk about Lawrence clan.
But yeah, I was actually surprised. So the Gunhilder clan, they go all the way back to Decarabian's time. Do you know who Decarabian is?
Not well, but I do know that phrase is familiar.
Yeah, so
this shows how like little I'm like involved in all of this.
It's a learning experience. It's great.
It is. It really is.
So I do actually have an episode on Decarabian, so if anyone needs a review on that, that is up there. But do you know where Stormterror's lair is?
Yes.
So that actually used to be Old Mondstadt, and that's where Decarabian was.
Oh, yes. I didn't know that.
Yes. So back in the day, before like the Archon War and stuff, and even like during and after, that was Decarabian's time period that he was in. He was basically a tyrant. He, there's those wind barriers around that tower in the middle. That was his doing. So he essentially trapped people inside his windy city.
Yes.
And so people rose up against him, and one of the people that did that was the Gunhilder clan. Which is super cool. And another cool thing actually is, even before this, the Gunhilder clan was a clan before it was named Gunhilder.
Really?
Yes. We don't really know anything before this time period, like how they became a clan or anything like that. But Gunhilder was a young woman. She lived during Decarabian's time, and when her father died, she became the leader of the clan. Which is so cool. And somehow it got named Gunhilder after her. We don't know all the details, but yeah. So the Gunhilder clan, Roggenbinder clan, and eventually what would become Barbados or Venti, they all, rose up against Decarabian and overthrew him, and then moved Mondstadt to where it is today. So that's kind of that whole little backstory there. So
it's just like so cool that like this is just and Mondstadt, the Gunhilder clan, like it's all it's a small part of the story, and
It
yet they've really
is.
fleshed it out, and it's just fascinating to
Yeah.
me.
Well, and it's a small part, but it's also such a big part because
Right.
Mondstadt wouldn't be what it is today without the Gunhilder clan.
Right,
You
right,
know?
exactly. The storytelling is just fantastic.
Oh, it just draws you in. It's amazing. Hoyoverse did an
Yes.
incredible job with all of their stories. It's on Jean's mother's side, that is the Gunhilder clan.
Mm-hmm.
Interestingly, her father, Seamus Pegg, he was initially an explorer or an adventurer, and he finally decided to settle in Mondstadt, and he started fresh at the church. And he eventually
Huh.
became what was called the Cardinal of Daybreak. So pretty high
Mm-hmm.
up position.
Yeah.
So that's how Barbara became a part of the church too, because he raised her. He was, he took her when their
Right.
parents split. He took her to be a part of the church, and that was the environment that she grew up in, and how she became eventually a deaconess, I think they call her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
uh-huh.
that was super cool to read about just their parents and just the stark differences between them. You have an
Yes.
explorer, an adventurer, and then you have, this very elite, almost Gunhilder clan. They just don't
Mm-hmm.
seem like they would go together, but they did.
Yeah. It's so cool. Like it's almost like a parent trap kind of
Yes.
thing too that Barbara and Jean have gone through.
Yes.
And I feel like I love that aspect
Mm,
that is in there.
yeah.
Like they had their I don't know, beginnings and then went their separate ways, and now
Hmm.
they're back together, and or at least Jean and Barbara. And
Right.
anyway, I just love it. I
Yeah.
love it.
Well, and I feel like at the beginning of Genshin, towards the beginning of the storyline, you kind of get the feeling that Jean and Barbara aren't super close because
Right.
of the separation. Like, they're kind of
Uh-huh.
nervous around each other. And was it Barbara, at least? Like, she wasn't really telling people that Jean was her sister. And you
Yeah.
eventually find out, of course, but I feel like since then, as the story has progressed, they've kind of warmed up to each other and they've gotten
Yeah.
closer. And yeah, it's just really sweet to see how their relationship has grown over the course of,
Yeah.
3 years now. So
Right. Yeah.
yeah.
And I am hopeful. I mean, wish I I wish I knew things, but I'm hopeful that we will get to see their relationship grow more, and like learn more
Yeah.
about them, and learn learn more about some of the experiences that
Hmm.
have really shaped them, and I think that would be fascinating.
Right. Well, and I think one of those, I don't know if you played this event or not, but they had that whole area of the Golden Apple Archipelago.
Yes, uh-huh. Yeah, yeah,
That was
yeah.
so cute. I think it was the first
Oh, it
one
was
that they did,
so
because
good.
they've brought it back a couple times now.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and that was the
But
very first of it.
yeah, both Jean and Barbara were there, and they both got their cute
Hmm.
little beach outfits.
I
They're
know, although
so
I'm jealous that
cute.
Barbara got the ducky purse. I wish that Jean had one too.
I know. Yes, but Barbara kind of makes
Hmm.
sense. That's just like
It's so
perfect for
true.
her. It's so
Jean's
cute
Jean's a
on
little
her.
too serious to wear a ducky purse.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
so cute. It's so
Yeah.
cute. Yeah.
But yeah, I think that through that experience, they kind of got closer just with all their adventures that they had there. So yeah, really cool
Hmm.
to see how their relationship is changing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool. And I think that's one thing that is again with the storytelling, like is so cool that like we're starting to see like Jean when you first meet her, like she's really feeling the weight of the responsibility as
Right.
acting grandmaster, and we're seeing her almost like learn to trust herself more
Hmm.
and starting to relax a bit,
Right.
And I think they've done a really great job
Mm.
with the story, that she's not just a one-dimensional character. Like, there are
Right,
other sides,
yeah.
and that people can adapt and open up and learn new things.
Hmm.
And so it's just really, it's cool to see where the story is leading all of these
Right.
characters.
And that responsibility that you mentioned, think back to like when you were 15 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
what were you even doing when you were 15?
Oh
Probably
my
in
gosh.
school. Like,
Yeah.
I know when I was 15, like, I didn't have a care in the world. I wasn't an adult. I didn't have adult
Mm-hmm.
issues to think about. I was just a
Right.
kid in school, whatever,
Yeah.
right?
Right. Right.
Jean, Miss Jean, she got the title of Dandelion Knight at 15.
Yeah.
And this
Right.
title is granted to only the most distinguished.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine
It's
being
a lot.
15 and having that kind of responsibility?
Right. It's so much.
I can't even imagine. And, she's had such intense training, in part due to her
Mm-hmm.
mother. Her mother wanted to pass on the Gunhilder legacy to Jean. And so she really
Mm-hmm.
trained her and taught her and pushed her even to become the best that she could be, the best swordswoman, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think Jean resents that in any way.
Oh no,
That
of
that's
course
what
not.
made her who she is. But it's like, oh my gosh, 15? I
15.
just can't
Yeah.
imagine.
Yeah. And I think it, in a way, it almost speaks to like how strong of a person, and how
Mm-hmm.
responsible, and Jean's strength of character, that
Right.
she was ready at that age to receive that kind of uh, responsibility and that title. And so it's pretty fascinating to me.
Yeah.
It I'm guessing it was not by accident that she was brought up when she was brought up, and
Right.
all of that.
Yeah, and as she got older, she just kept having more and more responsibilities, and she was
Mm-hmm.
practically doing Grandmaster Varka's job. I mean, she was
Right.
his second in command, and then he just like up and left on his expedition and was like, "You're in
Mm-hmm.
charge."
Yeah.
It's like,
Good luck.
"Okay. Good luck. Have
Right.
fun."
Right. Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah,
So,
and
so wild.
it's like, are we ever gonna see Grandmaster Varka?
I hope.
That would
I
be
mean, I
really
wish.
cool.
I think it would yeah, same. Like, I think it would be really, I think people really kind of want that,
Yeah,
so they can fill in the gaps
right.
in all of our brains.
Yeah.
Um,
And there's so much
yeah,
mystery surrounding him, you
so much
know?
mystery. Right.
There was the oh, which event was it? The Vinelisa Fest, I think. There
Oh,
was that
uh-huh.
storyline that revolved around Razor and his parents.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow, we find out that Grandmaster Varka somehow knew Razor's parents. And so that
Right.
whole story of like, okay, how does he know them? What was the significance there?
Yes.
Was that kind of why he sought out Razor, taught him a few things?
Mm.
Like, there's just so
Mm-hmm.
much mystery surrounding this guy. Like, what expedition is he on? What is he
Yeah.
doing? Give us more.
Right. Right. Right, right, right. Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see if they bring it back to
Yeah.
Mondstadt again,
Yeah.
and see what direction they take things. I mean,
Hmm.
hopefully, fingers crossed, knock on wood, that we get some of those answers.
Yes. Well, last time, he mentioned in his
Interesting.
letter he was in Natlan, I think it was, which
Mm-hmm.
is, if I'm remembering correctly, the Pyro Archon's territory. So I'm like,
Mm.
maybe if and when we go to Natlan, is he still going to be there or will he have moved on?
Right.
Oh, there's so
Right.
many things.
So many questions.
I
Ah.
know.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to see where it goes and how, like, in a way, like, I think everything is connected, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
in this world, and so I want to see those lines, like the
Yeah.
dots connecting. I want to
Yes.
see that actually
Yes.
happening.
And they will,
Yeah.
because we've come across things and it's like, wait a minute. That was mentioned like way back on this other
Mm-hmm.
one, and now they're tying it in, and you can see all the little pieces that they put together so
Yes.
masterfully to lead up to this
Uh-huh.
point. It's like, are you kidding me? So,
Yes.
no doubt they will tie in something with
They've
Grandmaster
got
Barca.
to. They've got to. I
Yes,
hope.
I really hope so.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Oh,
Ah,
yeah,
it's just
but
it's
oh,
big universe.
another one of Jean's many responsibilities is Klee. Oh,
Yes,
Klee.
our sweet Clee.
She's sweet, but oh, she is destructive.
Uh-huh. She sure is. She
Yeah,
sure is.
like her
Uh,
mother Alice, it's like, here, take care of my daughter, bye-bye. It's
yeah.
like,
Uh-huh.
Alice, where are you going?
Where are you going? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, good luck.
Yeah.
Here's
Uh,
this daughter who has
yes.
a lot to do, a lot of a lot of destruction and chaos.
Yes. Yeah, a lot of solitary confinement time.
Uh-huh.
For
It's
sure.
important.
A lot of blown up fish.
Uh-huh.
Um, and I know Mika, if you know who Mika
Mm-hmm.
is,
Yes.
he even said, I believe, that he had to revise his maps because of Klee. Because she would
Yes.
blow up so much stuff and blow up the terrain, he had to revise his maps.
Oh, Clee.
Yes.
Oh,
So just tack
Clee.
that on to one of Jean's responsibilities, in addition
Uh-huh.
to, finding cats and doing
Uh-huh.
taxes and
All of the many
oh,
things.
she does so much. Yeah,
She really does.
she in her story quest, she did so much that she actually made herself sick. It's like,
Yes.
Jean, just calm down. Don't
Right.
overwork yourself.
She is working herself to
Oh, she
the
just
point of
has
exhaustion.
Yeah, she just has the whole weight of the world on her shoulders. And it's like, no, you
Mm-hmm.
have people like Amber and Kaya and people that you can
Yeah.
rely on. Like, don't do it all yourself.
And isn't that just like a life lesson too? Like
It
learning to,
is.
almost like learning to trust that others can carry the weight too,
Right.
and
Like, it's not all up to you, and
mm-hmm.
there's no shame in asking for help?
Exactly. Yes, totally.
Yeah. But,
She's
do you,
learning
she
little by little.
is. She is. Do you know the story of the big tree in Windrise?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, yes, and why is it a blank in my brain? It's called, oh my gosh. It's where she goes and prays to Lady Vanessa, and
Yes.
why can't my brain is like not working right now.
Well, the cool little story about that big tree. So, Vanessa, if you don't know who Vanessa was, she was around during, oh, was it the old aristocratic era or the new aristocratic era? I don't remember.
I feel like it was the
That
old.
would probably make more sense, but it was during like the Lawrence clan.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And she was kind of like a slave, and she was a gladiator fighting battles trying to get her freedom. And she eventually like overthrew the Lawrence clan, and she got the keys to the city, all that great stuff. She was the first. Well, she founded the Knights of Favonius, and she was their
Mm-hmm.
first like dandelion knight, grandmaster, all of that great stuff.
Uh-huh.
And she's someone that Jean really looks up to and who she strives to be like.
Right.
And it is said that when Vanessa ascended to Celestia, there
Mm-hmm.
was like a sapling that was left behind, and it grew
And
into that
that's the
big tree
tree.
in Windrise. Just
Yes.
such a cool
Yes.
story. So that's why Jean goes to this tree specifically. So if she's ever
Yes.
feeling run down, stressed out, maybe even unsure of herself, she will go
Mm-hmm.
to that tree in Windrise and just be like praying to Vanessa and getting encouragement and
Yeah.
strength. And
Almost
it's just so
connecting
cool.
to.
Yes.
Yes. It's such a, and I feel like it's such a lovely moment. In that there's that cut scene where she's really just like in meditation or in prayer,
Yeah.
and just like, Lady Vanessa, I'm trying. I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying my best. And
Yeah.
I love that moment of almost like strength in the vulnerability
Mm.
that we see from Jean. And we know that she's so strong, and we know that she's also feeling a little in over her head. And so she knows to take that moment
Mm.
to return to herself in a way, or return
Right.
to that tree, to the in a way, the spirit of Lady Vanessa. And
Right.
um kind of seeking strength and
Mm-hmm.
seeking clarity and whatnot. And I just think that's such a, like, it's just a lovely moment.
Yeah. To kind of wrap up a little bit,
Mm,
there's a common theme with anyone who mentions or talks about Jean.
mm-hmm.
She's dependable, she's courageous, trustworthy, basically the best of the best. She's like the
Mm-hmm.
best swordswoman around. Everybody just talks so positively about Jean. She has such great
Yeah.
character. And she was also willing to accept Eula into the Knights of
Yeah.
Favonius, which
Right.
was something that nobody wanted because Eula, she's Lauren's clan, blah blah blah,
Yeah. Right.
and
Right.
she's like, let's give her a chance. She's, a skilled swordswoman. She's, good
Mm-hmm.
at what she does. Let's not dwell in the past, basically.
Yeah.
And yeah, brought her on, and eventually we talked about a little bit about this in our Amber episode, but Amber was a big help in getting Eula into the Knights of Favonius as well, and just befriended her.
Uh-huh.
And just it was such a cool testament to Jean's character and Amber's character. Like they didn't care like where she came from.
Yeah.
That's all in the past. Let's give her a chance and let's see
Right.
how she does, and that definitely
Yeah.
wasn't the popular choice. So,
Right. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah, and I think that, like, I think, well, exactly what you said. I might just be like regurgitating what you said just in my own words, but like, I think it shows strength of character
Mhm.
to have an openness and a
Mhm.
willingness um to a willingness to not hold on to, like, past past grudges, or
Yeah.
past disputes, or whatever it
Right,
is.
right.
And that Jean is willing and open um to let people have second chances
Right.
too. And I don't think it's in a foolish way
Right,
of her
right.
letting Eula have this, in a way, a second chance.
Mhm.
But I think it's it shows that she is has a good head on her shoulders.
Mhm.
She's making decisions from a mature place, instead
Yeah.
of all through ego and whatnot.
Yep. Yeah, she has a lot of wisdom. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
she's still very young. I don't know, it's never said her age, but I mean, she's
Mm-hmm.
probably early 20s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Barbara's probably teenager. So, I mean, when I was in my early 20s, like, heck no. I didn't know what I was doing
Yeah,
still. Like,
right.
and then you have Jean, and she just has so much wisdom, so much grace, and yeah,
Mm-hmm.
she's just a cut above the rest.
She
That's
is
basically it.
she is a cut above the rest. She's
Yes,
just a good person through and
she
through, and I just
is.
think that is like I love all the characters, and I love how like in a way like they're just relatable because
They are.
they're flawed, like they're
Yes.
just human. And I think even though Jean is like an overachiever in a
Mm-hmm.
way and whatnot, like she also struggles with her things as well,
Mm-hmm.
with her confidence at times,
Yeah.
and with she struggles like taking herself too seriously. And
Yep.
so even though I would say she's a cut above, she's also relatable in that like she isn't perfect, even though she is
Right. Yeah.
amazing. I don't know if that is making sense, but
No,
yeah.
totally. But that's what I love about Genshin is that I feel like in a lot of video games, like all these characters, they just seem so, quote unquote perfect. And
Yeah.
like there's nothing wrong with them. They're the hero of the story, whatever. And that's what I like about Genshin is that they're not perfect. You can
Mm-hmm.
clearly see
Totally.
that. And like you said, it is very relatable. I mean, everybody struggles with, their confidence or speaking up or being very introverted,
Yeah.
whatever it is. And they show that in the game. And I think that's
Right.
that's really great.
Yeah, and I think that's one thing with all these characters that have been created, I- like I know we all have our favorites, and that's
Mm-hmm.
because we all identify it as with different characters, with different
Yeah.
people, um, because we see ourselves in them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's a really incredible thing. Even though there's so many characters, I can't keep them all straight at this point.
Right.
But I love that there's so many because we can all have someone that is our almost like a landing place, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. And you have so many different regions as well. And it's
Mm-hmm.
just so cool to see the diversity. It's just great. I
Yes,
love it.
totally. Totally. It's a great game. It's cool to see all these other great games that MiHoYo is making, and Star Rail,
Yes.
and the new one, ZZZs, Endless Zone
Yes.
Zero and whatnot. And I think that that's one thing that the Hoyoverse, like the whole Hoyoverse is
Mm-hmm.
just very like all the games are different, and
Yeah.
yet they're like incredible stories that are being told. And
Right.
um so and it's fun that even with these new games coming out, that there are still people who really are love Genshin.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, it's an amazing thing to be in this world.
Right. Yeah, I mean, just the range of games that they have. I mean, you have Tears of Themis, which is, very different from what they have out now.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Genshin, which is an open world, kind of
Yeah.
fantasy. I don't know if it's considered an RPG or, and then you have
Yeah.
Star Rail, which is a turn based game. And
Mm-hmm.
it's just all these different types of games that cater to so many different
So many different.
people.
Right. Uh-huh.
They are smart. They are doing
Yeah, they know
something
what they're
good.
doing. They know what they're doing. That is for sure.
Yes, good job,
And
Hoyoverse.
yeah, good job. Hire me. Hire us.
Right.
We want more work.
Right.
But no, they really do an incredible job.
Hmm.
And I think it's these stories that they are telling, like people want to hear them. People
Yeah.
want to listen, and we want to connect with things um, that we relate with. And
Hmm.
they're giving so much content for us to
Hmm.
connect with. And
Right.
I think they're just doing a lovely, lovely job.
Yes, indeed. All right,
Oh,
Stephanie, this has been so fun.
thank you for having
You are
me.
the best. You are such a joy to talk to.
Oh my
So,
gosh, likewise. It's been so fun. And I've learned so
yes.
much too. So I'm
You
just
know what?
really,
I did
really
too.
grateful.
I love that
Yay!
about doing this podcast. It's like I learn so much.
Oh my
Woohoo!
goodness. You are so wonderful. And
Oh, no,
it just,
you.
I just so enjoyed chatting with you.
All
Oh,
right,
you're amazing.
Stephanie.
Thanks
Oh,
so
you're amazing
much.
too. I had so much fun. All right, everyone. That does it for episode 5. I really hope you enjoyed listening to that one. I had so much fun being able to talk to Stephanie and learn a little bit more about herself and Jean. Stephanie is such an incredible voice actress, so I hope you all will go show her some love and support and give her a follow on social media. Thank you again to Stephanie for being on the podcast, and I'll see you guys in the next episode very soon.